Hello, my name is Ozymandias12 and I host the show Game On, which is on C31 Melbourne and Aurora Television. Now, I've had a couple of people ask me to do some more videos, but I can't right now. But what I thought I'd do is do a kind of conversational podcast, or at least something that I can put on my YouTube page. And here I'm just having discussions about games, and I've brought in my friend Ray Melling to help me discuss some of these games. So in this first one, we're going to discuss Fallout, and it leads into a bunch of areas about the franchise as well as many other games. So it goes for a while. Feel free to tune out if you can't handle the whole 30, 15 minutes or however long it goes. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And here it is. Anyway, today we're talking about Fallout. Fallout 3 in particular and Fallout New Vegas. And I'm just going to propose to you, Ray, some questions. Firstly, let's just talk about what Fallout is. It's an RPG.
Yeah.
It's you're basically a character that you can create, and you
world.
roam a wasteland, a world after in a post-apocalyptic setting, and yeah, it's garnered a lot of fans around the world. Now, my question:
2008 Game of the Year.
Yeah, it was. And when was New Vegas out? That was 2010.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so my first question: what makes Fallout so good? Why is it so popular?
What, in my opinion, I'll say Fallout 3. So what makes Fallout 3 so good for me is its atmosphere. It's a great map design. It's big.
Is it the setting?
It's the setting. To be honest,
the dreary setting.
It just looks good, and it's one of few games that it's not a linear maze-like game. You know, you don't just go from checkpoint to checkpoint. You know, I don't like shooters per se.
Yep.
I mean, they just don't.
But, yeah,
They're old, and did you actually hear the thing on E3? This year's 2012 E3?
No.
They just said it was really substandard because people, except for a few exceptions like Watch Dogs and a couple others, most of it was just new shooters. And
yeah.
They were hoping for something new and different, and they got it in a few cases, like with The Last of Us.
Yeah, it's a little off topic, but I would say that they're just kind of going on franchises. It's the same game you've seen,
definitely.
Just a little bit better.
But Fallout,
we're getting sick of it.
What makes it different? It's got a unique style. You know, it's got a real, both in its look and its story. You know, it's
what about the
sort of
pacing?
sly humor.
The pacing of the game.
Pacing of the game, it's slow. You know, that's rare. It depends how you play it. That's the other thing. It depends how you play it. Fallout can be any number of things.
Okay, then I'll get back to that question. My second question: what's better, Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas?
Me personally, it's Fallout 3.
Why? Why is that?
Well,
I consider New Vegas to be just a step above.
No, I take Fallout 3 because less bugs. Firstly,
okay.
New
Vegas came out with a heavy load of bugs.
You've said this before to me. The map is small and repetitive.
No. The map is you've got these huge mountains that you can't get over, and it just kind of says you can't go there. To get over to the city, you have to go.
I didn't like that.
South, you've got to go through all these other towns, and I didn't like it. I thought it was the worst part about it.
That was cheap programming. I could tell straight away. I was like, mountains, which means we didn't have time to render little towns here, so we're just going to put mountains that you can't go through. I didn't appreciate it.
And if you want to go straight there, you run into these huge giant red scorpions, and they just tear you.
Didn't like it, man. That felt lazy.
New Vegas, it had other things which were really good about it.
The survival mode, hardcore mode.
Hardcore mode was the best thing about it.
That was really
the whole thing where you're walking and then you need to eat, otherwise you get all dreary and shaky and stuff like that.
It was great.
That's better. And I played Fallout, or even Skyrim for that matter, and it's just stupid. Your character's just walking, he's not sleeping. Day and night, he's just this invincible machine. There's no human quality about it.
Yeah, that's true. And if that hardcore mode were in Fallout 3, then
I think Fallout 3 would probably
hands down the better game.
I think it would be the.
If you took it out of both of them, would New Vegas be as good? If you took hardcore mode out of both, would you say New Vegas is better?
Oh, I don't even know if I don't know.
It doesn't have a good feel, man. It's just not. You can't set a horror film in a day. Sometimes, you know, it just didn't. It didn't do it for me. It had a decent story.
It made it a bit more colourful. Fallout 3 had a really good theme to it, or maybe just atmosphere to it.
Had incredible art design. Like the design on those buildings and the daily landscape is better than New Vegas.
Exactly. Actually, I better just slide that down here. Oh, there was another thing in New Vegas that Fallout 3 doesn't have, and that's aiming down the iron sights.
Yeah, that was...
I think that's a big thing as well.
It is a big thing. But, to be honest, it all pales in comparison to the feeling you get from Fallout 3. It's a better game. It just... It's darker, it's richer. You know,
What about the writing?
New Vegas, you can only take so far. Fallout 3, you can take as far as you want. I've played that game a number of times through. It gets better each time. And the more you give it, the more it'll give back. New Vegas, with the glitches and things, it just doesn't quite...
Well, if you play it now, it's all been updated. It's all taken care of. And I had a playthrough with it before, and I had probably the best Fallout experience I've had.
Yeah, this has been my best.
Awesome game.
This is my third playthrough. This is by far the best.
And Fallout New Vegas has like 3 different kind of endings. Like that's the same with Fallout 3, but this one you can either go with, you know, the Caesar's Legion. You can either go with
the thing with the one thing
Mr. House. You can either go with the NCR. There's like 5 different endings.
Yeah,
and it's really good to do a different one each time.
What I don't like about both games is what I liked about New Vegas more is the fact that when you start, it's back to the wind. It's like, all right, off you go where you may. You've got a direction, but really you're free to go. You don't really know who you are, how old you are. You're just this guy.
Yeah.
Whereas Fallout 3, you do play a little bit more of a story. You're this guy's son.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 which at first, on your first playthrough is good. It's like, wow, this is a great story. You escape from the vault. It looks really good.
Yeah.
But then on your second, third playthrough, it's like, okay, this is a bit weird. I don't want to be 19 years old, you know?
I think what's good about, and I don't want to mention Skyrim too much because we're talking about Fallout, but Skyrim and New Vegas, you're just this random person. You don't have any obligation to anything. It's what you make of it. In Fallout 3, you have to look for your father.
Yeah.
You've got this thing that you used to be in the vault.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of got a small obligation. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
On your first playthrough, it's a good thing. I thought it was cool. And then your second, third playthrough, you realise, you know what? This sort of storytelling is from a far gone era. This you won't see this anymore.
Yeah.
You'll see unadulterated, create your own stories in video games.
Yeah.
Fallout in particular.
I think that's where it's coming to. I think that's what everyone's warming up to.
And
linear style.
And I hate to bring up other games when we're talking about Fallout, but that's why this DayZ mod is so important because it's not contrived. You know, it's kind of like the Dark Knight. I mean, the Dark Knight, the Joker says...
The film?
Yep, the Joker says, you know, the only fair world is chaos, you know? If you have plans, they can be broken and not fulfilled. That's why games now have to just be sort of create a world, do the best you can to create it and, you know, put up a few obstacles perhaps, but other than that, you got to be able to and anticipate what the player's going to do and then create a game to that. Not sort of, alright, we're going to tell this story and you're going to go here and it's going to be this. If I want that, I'll go and see a film.
Mm.
You know, I want a game that's just sort of create this world and go for it. And Fallout to this point is the closest thing for that.
Yeah. So you think it was a backstep with New Vegas?
No, Vegas was a good game.
Was it in the right direction?
It's certainly because the hardcore mode and the storytelling's better, and
I think
also it's a little bit more sort of free roam. Like you off you go. You know.
I thought the guns were a bit,
and the gunplay was far better as well. But you know, it was working off that Fallout engine. It was a mod. It was Fallout 3.
It wasn't a big enough step up, I think.
No, it wasn't Fallout 4. It was Fallout New Vegas for a reason. It was a you know, they still had. The map was exactly the same diameter as Fallout 3, or thereabouts, with a few things cut out of it. But, you know, had a couple
So you think Fallout 3 is a better game?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say, absolutely. I would say just by a nose, New Vegas. But that's just me. That's just Aussie. That's just what I do.
You know, we're going to butt heads on this.
Alright, let's get to our next question.
Please.
How should someone play Fallout?
You got to play it slow. You got to take your time. You got to.
And we're talking just about Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. Now, when you mean take it slow, what do you mean?
You got to play it realistically. You know, don't fast travel. I don't know why they put that in that game. Yeah. I think the next version, sip it out. Skyrim too. Fuck it. Get rid of it. Pardon me. I didn't mean to.
It's alright.
I didn't mean to. Get rid of it. It cheapens the game. If you're not in it for the... It's like a marriage and it's like...
fast travel. I remember you've used fast travel, but you felt terrible afterwards. You told me about it.
For a couple of reasons. One, if there's a glitch I can't get by. A computer glitch. Not like, oh shit, I can't get by an enemy. No excuse.
I think the option should still be there, but really, people who just kind of... If you play Fallout like you are running everywhere...
You get 3. You get 3 for the whole game.
3? Well, I don't know. I think it must be there to get you out of those situations because Fallout is so big. It does have these little falling gaps of glitches, you
It
know.
serves two reasons. One, to cover up glitches. So if you walk 20 meters and then you're like, oh shit, you just fly into the sky and die.
Yeah.
Then you're like, oh screw it, I'll just fast travel, you know. Or the second one is glitches or.
What about a death? So you
Yes,
walk 20 million
yeah,
miles
that's what
and then
I
you
say.
die and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't save, and I didn't do anything in that whole walk.
Okay, that's
a given. You can do it.
they are the only two, and ideally neither in neither circumstance should cause you to fast travel. But I will let it go.
Okay. Yeah, but like this is how you shouldn't.
It's kind of like running a yellow light. Shouldn't do it, but it's legal.
Yeah. But like, I remember I played Fallout 3 for the first time. I ran through that whole game. My character was just running to one place. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I saw your father. He went this way. Okay, alright, ran all the way back there. This guy was running all over the world, and
Ridiculous.
I didn't enjoy it. I was just like,
Of course you did.
who enjoys this game? And then I saw it
Right.
walking his character. And every now and then, he'd pull out his gun randomly, look around his shoulder, as if he heard something, and then he'd pull it away. And he was sleeping at night. He was eating food. I couldn't believe it, and it was such an immersive experience that I got into it and I played it like that. And it's changed the way I looked at games.
Fallout games in general. It's so
Yeah.
important.
It's a very important.
And kids today, I don't think get.
I think you've got to add your own realism to it. I think
absolutely.
that's the thing about games.
Games can only go so far. Excuse me. Games
There's
can
a
only go
plane
so far.
going overhead right now.
Yeah, that'll be picked up.
Let's power through it.
You can't. You know, games can only take you so far. You can ruin any game. You know, you can watch Schindler's List and go, you know, this movie sucks. You know, the list blows. But you can't. And the same with games. If you want to destroy a game, you can. You can just go around and be a dickhead and create a stupid account. And the also thing with Fallout and New Vegas that's so important is you've got to create a character. You've got to have a character.
We're going to get to that.
Okay,
We're going to get to that.
What was the question again?
How you should play Fallout. But there, I think basic what we're saying is that with any game, not just Fallout, I think Fallout works because it is such a good avenue for it. But you put realism into the game.
You've got to.
You've got to immerse yourself into the game.
Yeah.
You can't just expect the game
You've got
to
to be
immerse
thinking.
you.
It's a thinking man's game. You've got to be thinking, okay, it's been 8 hours since I've eaten something. I got to rest. I got to stop and eat something. Maybe just
Like, even little things.
Wait for an hour. You know, just
Exactly.
select an hour. That's it.
I sit
That's like
down
2
in
seconds.
chairs and wait an hour.
Yeah.
And I eat with my companion. I remember you had Sharon as a companion.
Sharon, that's right.
And you just said that really weird. But and you had Sharon as a companion who travelled with you throughout the whole game. You were near the end of the game, and then Sharon died.
He died.
Giant rad scorpion 2 or 3 attacked him.
multiple.
He was shooting him.
He was a hell of a warrior.
And then what did you do as a realistic thing? What did you do?
I buried him. I dragged his corpse to a spot that looked ceremonious.
Yeah.
And then I took his gun off his corpse.
Okay. He's the combat shot.
He had a combat shotgun. And I fired 5 bullets in the air. You know, at intervals. And then I laid the shotgun at his feet. And I know.
I find that quite poignant. You know.
Yeah, it's important.
Did you get another companion after? Did you move on or just say no?
Fawkes came with me when I hadn't quite completed that mission yet, so Fawkes was thrust upon me. But then, with Fawkes, I was like, you know what? Fawkes is dominating the game. You can go anywhere with Fawkes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you've passed the game when you get Fawkes. It's like, well done, you've completed the game. Here's Fawkes. You know, that's the way I look at it. And so I got rid of Fawkes. What I did was, you know, he was lonely for companionship. And as was, I forget her name, but the girl, the woman in the radio station, you know, way out in the wasteland, who wants you to get the violin from...
Oh, this old lady.
What was her
Tabitha
name?
or something like that.
No, it's not Tabitha. She's in New Vegas.
You remember?
I forget now. I haven't done that mission in a long time. Anyway,
Oh,
so I took her there, and she's this old lady by herself in the middle of nowhere, and I left Fawkes with her. I was like, you know what? Mother, you know.
she's going to look up.
So I said, wait here, and I left him there forever. No, they're there together still. And also, the way you should play Fallout, creating characters, is that something we're going to bring up later? Or?
Yeah, we'll get on to
Okay,
that.
well, I won't bring it up.
Can I just say that with the companions, I felt the companions in New Vegas were a bit better.
Oh, absolutely. They had a story.
I think when you have companions that have a backstory, like, companions are a big thing. You get to know them, they're helping you out. I think they should be made a little bit more realistic.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I liked how they would comment. You know, you'd be travelling into an area and they say, oh, I remember my father went here, and, you know, I thought that was really
Fallout
good.
stepped up. Fallout New Vegas, I should say, stepped up in that respect. I think also, better companions as well.
And the missions to
New
help
Vegas
improve.
just like that little companion wheel was like a good addition, but I don't know if it takes it above Fallout 3. You know, I don't think it does it.
Well, the big thing about Fallout 3 is it has a better, I don't know, atmosphere. Fallout New Vegas had just some really good gameplay elements. And I think the atmosphere wasn't quite as good. They went for a Western one.
A style will always trump form. I mean, you look at computers now. Like, Apple is the highest selling computer brand. Does it necessarily have the best processors in it? Questionable, doubtful, but it outsells. Why?
Yeah.
Because of style and fashion. It's popular, and that's my Fallout 3.
So just to sum up, playing Fallout 3, go slower, go realistic.
Yeah.
We